Sylvia. I'm here with Ryder to test the 2025 KTM 390 Adventure R. And we're here in Mammoth and we are on our second day of riding. The first day we rode the Enduro. Today we're riding the adventure bike. And there are some slight differences, but for the most part, the motor's the same. The suspension is the same, but the clickers are different, the valving is different, but overall it's still the same front suspension, the mono shock in the rear, both WP. You get 30 clicks of rebound and compression in the front and 20 clicks of rebound in the rear. All right, so even though I said these bikes are fairly similar, they look very different. This one's kind of more rally oriented. It's got this tower up here. It's got the windscreen. The bars are a little bit taller. The seat height is 34.2 inches, which is slightly shorter than the Enduro model, which is nice for me because it was really difficult for me to touch the ground on the Enduro. The seat on this bike is slightly different than the Enduro model. This one's a little bit, again, lower, but it also has just a different shape. Probably a little more for comfort, for long distance, and more towards road riding. This bike also has different electronics than the Enduro model. This has rain mode, so you have rain mode, off-road, and street. So those are your three modes. Same thing in the off-road. It turns off rear ABS, and you still have front ABS. It's very minimal, it's not very intrusive. However, I don't believe you can turn it off. Yeah, you cannot turn off front ABS on this model. So this bike comes with a 5-inch TFT display, and like I said earlier, it has 3 different ride modes, so rain, street, and off-road. Getting into a little more of the electronics, you can adjust a few more things on this than the Enduro model, including throttle responsiveness. So this bike has 3 different throttle modes that you can change and adjust. You can be in those 3 different ride modes and adjust the throttle response. So for example, if you want to be in the off-road mode, that's the snappiest of the throttle responses. And if you are kind of newer to riding and you'd like a more calm throttle response, you can be in off-road mode and have the rain throttle response. So you can adjust that in the menu. This handlebar on the left-hand side, it doesn't have that toggle switch, but it has these really easy to follow up, down, left, right buttons on the left-hand grip, and they work really well. So going through the menu settings was really easy for me. I was super happy about that. And you can change traction control settings in each mode. So this bike has the bi-bree front brakes and rear brakes, just like the Enduro model, but the only difference is the rotor is slightly bigger because this is kind of more towards the road setting. So it's a 320 millimeter rotor instead of the 285, which is on the Enduro. Another thing that is different about this bike is even though the tire sizes are the same, 21 inch in the front and 18 in the rear, the tires that come with it are a 60-40. So 60 towards the street and 40 for the off-roading. And I definitely felt a difference today. It was really interesting in the deepest, softest of sands that we rode today. I was struggling. However, it did really well. If you know what you're doing, it works great. It took me a minute, but I actually found it usable and great. Even in the softest sand, it picked up and it did everything it needed to do, so that was good. If it was my bike, I would change the tires. I would get aggressive off-road tires, but that's just me because I'm a wimp. So even though this bike is a little more road-oriented, it does have its off-road goodies, right? The wraparound handguards, the skid plate at the bottom, and then the 21-inch front and 18-inch wheel, so you can put on aggressive off-road tires if you wanted to. So this bike is a single-cylinder, 4-stroke, 398cc motorcycle. It is liquid-cooled, and this engine is all new compared to the old 390. So the old 390 was 373 cc's. This one is 398 cc's, and it has a little more torque. In this engine, the bore is the same. It just has a longer stroke, making it feel a little bit more torquey. Riding this bike today, I did notice slight differences in comfort and kind of, this again is more road oriented. This handled really well on the street, really stable. The Enduro did too, but I feel like this one just did a little bit better on the road. It does go really fast. I'm not going to say the exact speed, but we did go fairly fast on this. I didn't get any head shake. It was very stable and planted. Yeah, it was really good. And then on the fire roads where there was deep sand, Chris Fillmore did this to me on purpose. We rode through the deep sand and it handled it really well. If there was an experienced good rider on this, I'm sure you'd have no problem. However, if you're newer like me, when it comes to off-roading and adventuring, this was a great choice for an adventure bike, especially if you're newer, like someone like me. Considering it is an adventure bike, you can still touch the ground pretty well. I'm 5'6", and this is a 34-inch seat height. I could touch the ground with like 1 foot and kind of hop around, and that's not really heard of with most adventure bikes. Most adventure bikes are a little bit taller, a lot heavier, a lot more powerful. This motor was very friendly, but if you wanted it to be snappy, it can be snappy. And the fact that you can adjust all that is great. I think it's definitely geared more towards newer / people who want to get into off-roading, into adventure riding. I think this is a great choice. I wasn't bored at all on this bike. It was super capable and very forgiving. It did all those things that you would want in your first adventure bike. That's kind of how I feel about this. So for under $7,000, $699, whatever, under $7,000, you can have this fully capable adventure bike. That's crazy. Most adventure bikes are like 10 grand or more. This can do everything you need it to for under $7,000. That's crazy. It's a really great value, and it's super comfortable, super friendly. I really had a good time on this bike for sure. Okay, so this bike weighs 388 pounds, which is really good for an adventure bike. And for me, having to turn the bike around in the soft sand, I stepped off the bike and kind of turned it while leaning on me. And I was able to do that because of how light it is. If it was a bigger adventure bike, I might have a harder time. So I was really thankful that it wasn't so heavy. And in the soft sand, when I have to come to a stop, my legs were able to touch pretty decently, so that was nice. While I was riding the bike, the weight felt more down low and not so up top, which most adventure bikes do tend to feel like kind of top heavy. This one kind of felt pretty even, and the weight was kind of down low, so that was very confidence inspiring and felt more stable when we were going fast. So under $7,000, you get all this good stuff and a very nice TFT display with a rally tower, so it's nice in your view while you're riding, either standing up, sitting down. It's like you can see it, right? So that's really nice. And it displays a bunch of stuff that most other bikes wouldn't display for, again, this price point. It shows your fuel, it shows if your ABS is on, your traction control, what mode you're in, your RPMs. You can choose which, if you want like an analog display or if you want a different display of any kind. It's got a lot of features. It has a bunch of stuff. So you can also change the background if you want it for daytime or nighttime use. You can have it automatically set, or like I said, you could change whichever one you like. It's really good. So overall, I really enjoyed this bike. We rode 145 miles of mainly deep sand, off-road, all today. It was crazy. And even then, after all that, every one of the journalists were like, can we ride some more? Can we take it on the single track? And we did. Chris Fillmore was sweet enough to let us go and do some single track on this, which was awesome. And then we also went up Tioga Pass towards Yosemite, which was beautiful. And again, this thing handled really well on-road and off-road, and we wanted more. Even after riding all day, the fact that we wanted to ride more just proves how good this bike was. So super impressed, and I'm super thankful for KTM for such a great event in Mammoth. It's beautiful. We've had nothing but an awesome time here. So I hope that you guys get to try this bike out, and yeah, see ya.